Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. An announcement to boost healthcare services at one of Tasmania's hospitals has been overshadowed by an issue at another. The state government promising an injection of funds into the Northwest Regional Hospital, but the Nurses Union wants answers on when heating and cooling will be fixed at the LGH.
A shot in the arm for healthcare in Tasmania's northwest. The Premier announcing $57 million of upgrades and new infrastructure at the regional hospital.
We are absolutely committed to improving health infrastructure, but also investing in people when it comes to our health service delivery right across Tasmania.
The funding commitment will deliver an expanded emergency department, new ambulance drop-off and upgrades to acute care. There'll also be more parking.
We're very much looking forward to providing increased services.
Also included as part of today's announcement, a new $40 million mental health precinct.
Where we have designs out there, and of course we expect to start construction later on this year.
But while it was positive news in the northwest, the Nurses Unions expressed disappointment. Problems with air conditioning and heating at the Launceston General Hospital appear no nearer to being fixed. It's worried about the winter ahead and wants to avoid a repeat of last summer, where patients and staff had to endure temperatures approaching 40 degrees.
The Minister provided a commitment in February this year that those works would commence in April, and we're now sitting in mid-May and nothing has started.
A claim refuted by the Premier, but who also wasn't able to provide a timeline for major works.
But we are dealing with very ageing infrastructure, and we need to ensure that patient safety and patient care is paramount as we decant, of course, wards and have the necessary infrastructure upgrades as required.
Not good enough, say Labor and the Greens.
This government has got a lot to answer for when it comes to providing better health services to Tasmanians.
I mean, how hard is this to fix? It begs the question about the priorities of this government.
Matthew Watson, 7 Tasmanian News.
Tasmanians in the 3 upper house electorates of Pembroke, Nelson and Montgomery will head to the polls tomorrow. Key issues such as housing affordability, transport infrastructure and the hotly debated Macquarie Point Stadium dominating the campaign.
G'day, I'm Luke Edmonds.
He's been a member of the Legislative Council for 2.5 years, but Luke Edmonds isn't taking tomorrow's election for granted.
And there are clearly issues around housing, around transport, around cost of living, and around essential government services like education and health.
He's up against Greens candidate Carly Allen, a mum and a local business owner on the Eastern Shore.
I'm very confident from what I've been hearing from the community.
Over the Derwent, Nelson is a 3-horse race, with Liberal Marcus Vermey, Greens candidate Nathan Wolfe and 6-year incumbent MLC Meg Webb, all pining for a seat at the table.
That they want someone they can trust to represent them in the upper house. They know that they can trust me.
The contests tend to be unusual. They're often major parties versus independents, and a lot of personality factors. And so you don't really know until you see what happens on the night.
The Greens fielding a candidate in every available electorate, including Darren Briggs in Montgomery.
He too has been pushing out a message around the stadium, the fact that we don't need it, we don't want it, that for people in the northwest of the state it's almost inaccessible.
The future of the Macquarie Point Stadium in the hands of upper house members, the issue dominating conversations for some candidates.
Certainly all year, the topic that's come up most on the doors of Nelson has been the stadium.
They don't need a stadium. That's the main message that I have been hearing.
The stadium is definitely an issue, but I wouldn't necessarily use the words concern. I think there's quite a lot of support as well.
And for those who are suffering election fatigue, there's one upside for voters.
Well, everyone should be on the roll as a result of the federal election.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmanian News.
A fire which has gutted a house in the state's north overnight is believed to have been deliberately lit. Fire investigators returned to the scene of the blaze in Hume Street at Mayfield this morning after crews were called there shortly after 1 a.m. Police say no one was home at the time. And as thousands flee their homes in flood-ravaged New South Wales, a group of Tasmanian devils has been caught up in the chaos. Part of a breeding program at Aussie Ark, west of Taree, 15 devils needed to be not so delicately rescued from flooded paddocks. The charity says all its animals have been accounted for. 2 bushwalkers have been rescued after becoming lost in remote wilderness on the west coast. Search and rescue personnel deployed to the Savage River Regional Reserve yesterday, along with the Westpac Rescue helicopter. Authorities say the pair wasn't sufficiently equipped and had limited knowledge of the area. Police are pleading with walkers to prepare for all journeys and always carry navigational devices and remote locator beacons. You're watching 7 Tasmania Nightly News. A growing number of Tasmanians are needing a safe roof over their head, with over 5,000 on the social housing waitlist. City Mission's annual Sleep Rough event tonight, aiming to raise funds for those in need, but organisers say allocating more funds in next week's budget is a must.
5,669. That's how many Tasmanians are on the social housing waitlist.
Over 82 weeks. For the average wait time, it's huge, and I guess you look back at the statistics and it's growing exponentially every year.
Domestic, family violence and cost of living are still major drivers for people needing housing support, according to new Anglicare data.
It doesn't discriminate. You could be working, you could be a couple with children, you could still be impacted.
The community rallying at City Mission's annual Sleep Rough event, aiming to raise $300,000 for Tasmanians who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless.
This is a really good opportunity for people to get a small glimpse into what it might be like to experience homelessness.
City Mission supporting 600 people each year with housing, rehabilitation, healthcare and employment.
People from teenagers right through to people in their 60s and up into their 70s.
But as demand for its services grows, support is reaching critical levels. It's prompting a sense of urgency to fix the crisis, calling on the government for a slice in next week's budget.
We can't continue as not-for-profits to do the work that we do with the crisis we're in without more support for government. We're only going to continue to see more people needing help.
The state government says it is investing in specialist homelessness services, as well as meeting housing supplies is at the forefront.
We invest some $50 million a year to support people in need. That's why we're investing in 10,000 new homes by 2032.
Hopefully helping to shorten a very long wait. Rebecca Gadaneris at 7 at Tasmanian News.
The Kingston bypass duplication isn't all about cars. Pedestrians will be able to scoot across to the Huntingfield Park and Ride from nearby homes with a $4 million overpass, making it easier to get to the bus and safer too.
When you look at the busyness of the roads here, the increase in traffic, people trying to get across major thoroughfares is not what we want. We're building safer, more efficient roads for the future of this area.
Designs are being finalised. Construction is due to start later this year. The Australian Musical Theatre Festival is in full swing, treating audiences to stunning renditions of Broadway's biggest hits. It gives young up-and-coming performers a chance to share the stage with some of the industry's biggest names.
Midway through the annual theatrical takeover of Launceston, aspiring young performers sharing the limelight with a legend for the stage rehearsal of a musical classic.
There's so much energy, the kids are loving it, and it's really lovely to see the crossover between, locals, young children.
And distinguished performers like Nancy Hayes, one of Australia's leading ladies of the stage.
It gives me a real shot in the arm because I see myself in them.
If they could see me now.
Nancy returning to Sweet Charity after she made her starring role debut in the Australian production of the musical way back in 1967.
Somebody loves me at last.
I have musical theatre in one eye and mud in the other.
Tonight's show, a celebration of new talent, showcasing young performers who can't wait to see their names in lights.
That's a thrilling experience for any performer, to be in front of a live audience.
Showing musical theatre is alive and well, and that there's no business like show business.
You don't realise how much people enjoy the escapism of theatre.
Well, it's a gift to do something you love.
Tom Crosby. 7 Tasmanian News.
Winter Feast, often considered the warm, beating heart of dark mofo, is preparing to make its return. Producers across the state putting finishing touches to their dishes, with native Australian protein proving a popular pick for many.
Chef Jez Waterhouse is proving nothing is impossible when cooking. He's set to showcase his slow-cooked possum bao buns at this year's Winter Feast.
I think they're going to be very surprised. I think a lot of people think they'll be biting into something with the texture of a Blundstone boot, but no, it is very, very moist because of the slow cooking time.
Putting the finishing touches to his tasty delight, hoping festival goers give his product the taste of approval.
I just want them to walk away and go, I can't believe I've just eaten possum and it was absolutely delicious.
Tasmania is the only state where one can ethically source and plate up the protein.
I think it's one of those proteins as well which is a little underutilised, very unique as well that we're allowed to get it here.
He'll join over 70 other producers at the event, a host of both familiar favourites as well as some new ones joining the mouth-watering lineup for the first time.
We just really try and ensure that there's an array of different stallholders from all over the state.
Our first time, we're super excited.
International guest chef Nia T. Rao will be flying in to feed the masses, plating up her own Australian protein with glazed wallaby wings. Mona's Vince Trim also getting the flames going for the feast.
Gathering over food is such an important part of every culture, and the Winter Feast is very much a celebration of that and a core part of Tasmanian winter.
There's something in the air. We're only just a few days almost out from starting.
The feast gets underway June 5. Rebecca Gadaneris, 7 Tasmanian News.
It's 100 years to the day since the Bridgenorth Parrots played their first game in the West Tamar Football Association in 1925. The only club from that era still functioning. They're marking the milestone by reviving the original playing strip for tomorrow's clash with Georgetown.
Really excited. There was a real buzz around training on Thursday night and everyone's pretty pumped about it.
Obviously coming off a premiership last year, we've shaped up really well and kept our connection together, and our culture is a massive part of our team.
The club doesn't have an original Guernsey in its collection, but hopes somebody watching tonight does and gets in touch. Last weekend's 2-0 Lacasselle Cup elimination is a distant memory for Launceston City. It's onwards and upwards as they head into tomorrow's crosstown derby with a good record against Launceston United.
It's a case of just getting back, and the boys are really eager to set things right coming this Saturday.
In the WSL, Taroona still chasing their first win, having come close against Riverside Olympic last round.
We've got a talented group of players there. I think, we're probably still missing kind of a key goal scorer.
Despite coming off a win, Launceston United say they won't be taking Taroona lightly. Victorian Sarah Kennedy and Queenslander Courtney Sipple are among the exciting new additions to our WNCL squad. Head coach Jude Coleman says she's confident the refreshed list strikes the right balance, introducing new talent while keeping a strong core of experienced leaders after stars Molly Strano and Heather Graham returned to the mainland.
I'm not sure you can necessarily replace them, but what we'll be trying to do is just rebuild with people who bring their own unique skills and strengths to the squad.
The team also signing Scottish international all-rounder Catherine Bryce, who played for the Hurricanes last season.
Good evening. Hobart saw 18 degrees today. It reached 20 in Launceston, 19 in Devonport and 17 in Burnie. 20 across the islands, Grove 19, Smithton, Low Head and St Helens 18. 17 in Friendly Beaches and Strawn, Ouse 13 and 11 in Lyowini. We experienced overcast cloud over Bass Strait and parts of the north. However, the south embraced some sunny skies today. Extensive areas of cloud are seen about southern New South Wales, pushing onshore about northern Tasmania. Tomorrow, a trough and low pressure system will pass over the northeast of the state as a cold front approaches coastal SA, Western Victoria and Tasmania. Winds west-northwesterly across most waters, increasing upward of 35 knots in the east. West to southwesterly swells will increase to around 3 metres. A strong wind warning has been issued tomorrow for coastal waters between Sandy Cape to St Helens Point. Showery conditions towards the south tomorrow, 16 the top in Hobart, Medina and Oatlands, both 14. Easing showers in the north, Launceston and Devonport, both 17, just 12 degrees in Lyweni. A chance of showers for the west, although easing in Burnie 17, Strawn 15 and 17 the maximum in Marrawar. Much the same towards the east, showers in St Helens and Swansea 18, 17 in Alford. Forecast now for Sunday. Showers initially about the west and north, extending statewide throughout the morning, with possible thunderstorms about the west and the north. More showers about the west and north, extending statewide on Monday, with possible thunderstorms. They'll continue about the west and north coast. Showers statewide on Tuesday, but more so about the northeast. As the weekend unfolds, here's what we can expect tomorrow across the nation. Fine in Sydney 22, developing showers in Adelaide 21. Perhaps a morning shower in Melbourne, they're chasing 19 degrees. Showery across the state. Hobart 14 right now, Launceston 13 and 16 in Devonport. And just like that, it's the end of the working week. Kim, I might hang around for the weekend, I think, but I'll see you again on Monday.
And I reckon tonight you'll be out celebrating. Happy birthday to you, Kaya. And that is all we have time for tonight. Lou will join you over the weekend with Kaya. But for now, on behalf of the entire 7 Tasmanian Nightly News team, it is good night for this Friday.